Okay, this is my first YouTube video. I'm going to be replacing motor brushes on my model 401A Singer sewing machine, made in 1957. Well, wish me luck. First thing I'm going to do is get the sewing machine out of the cabinet. There's two screws that hold the hinges. They have to be loosened. One is right here. And then the machine should lift off of the hinges. I'm going to unplug the foot controller. Now the machine is ready to be worked on. I'll take it to my workbench. First step will be to take off the cover on the bottom of the sewing machine by undoing the thumb screw. Here's the motor, and these are the brush covers. Each one has a slotted screw. Take that out. Pretty dirty. You can see a lot of carbon. Okay, I got my needle nose pliers, and I also turned the machine over so that the motor's on the top. Should be able to get this out of here now. There we go. Got a screw and the cover. Set that down. Now you can see the brush holders in there, and if you can see in that slot, mostly you see the spring, and there's very little brush left, quite a bit of carbon buildup. So I'm going to try to pull that brush holder out. It's supposed to be really easy. It's only held in by spring tension, that copper spring, and you can see that there it comes. And there's more brush than I expected. It's about 3/8 of an inch long. Not bad. I thought it was much shorter than that. We'll pull the other one out. Here's the other one, about the same length. In the meantime, since there's a lot more left of the brush than I originally thought, I'm just going to clean this up and put it back together, because there's a lot more life left in these brushes. it's not the emergency that I thought it was. Okay, so here's the commutator and the motor. And you can see a big carbon buildup in there, hanging down from that plastic part, touching the commutator. In here there's plenty of carbon. So I've got my vacuum cleaner, and I'm going to use the narrow attachment, crevice tool I guess it's called, and I'm going to try to suck out some of that carbon. There's a lot back in there. Probably needs to be disassembled and cleaned more thoroughly than I'm going to do, but I'm going to leave well enough alone. Wow, I'm surprised. That did a nice job. A lot better than I would have expected. Now I'm also going to clean the commutator. Yeah, I can turn that with my finger. They make a commutator cleaning stick, but I don't have one. I see some more carbon in there. That turned out nice. Now the brushes. Going to wipe them off with a paper towel. Probably should go up inside there. I'll just twist up the paper towel and go up in the opening. Yeah, there's some carbon up there, to be expected. I doubt if this thing's been touched in 60 years. My mother owned this machine, bought it new when I was a little kid, and she used it to make jockey silks for horse racing. So I listen to it running all the time. Okay, I'm going to stick this back up in here. Oh yeah, I told you I was going to clean the commutator. Let me see if I can find something to do that with. Okay, what I've come up with is a pencil eraser. And what I'm doing is getting in there and just rubbing the commutator bar with the eraser, and you can see that it takes off some. It's making the commutator nice and shiny. So I'm going to rotate it and do one segment at a time. Being careful not to damage any of the wiring that's on the motor. Yes, that's working pretty well, I'd say. So I'm just going to go around one at a time and rub each one gently. I'll come back when I'm finished. Okay, so I've got that all vacuumed out and gone around the whole commutator with the pencil eraser. Now I'm going to put the brush holders back in. So the slot goes towards the front and the curve of the brush goes parallel to the commutator. Hopefully I can slip it in there. Again, the only thing that holds it in is that copper spring that also serves as the contact, the electrical connection. So we have to move that. There we go, it's going in. Okay, that's in there. All the way in. The brush is going parallel with the commutator. And now I need to slide that brush holder down so that it is about 1/16 of an inch away from the commutator. Here it goes. Oh, that's pretty close. There's a little space there. That looks great. It's all the way in. That one's done. Now the bottom one. If I was really smart about this, I probably would have remembered which one goes where. But I'm just going to say that it'll be just fine like this. Gotta make sure that's parallel to the commutator. A little bit tricky, especially since it's on the bottom and I can't really see what I'm doing. As well as the top one, there it goes in. And turned a little bit. Straighten it up. There, it went right in. Pushed all the way back. Oh, there's a little tab on top that prevents it from going down too close to the commutator. That's good to know. Sliding it up so that it's close but not touching. That tab stops it at the right distance. It's looking good. I think we did it. I'm going to clean off the brush caps. They're pretty dirty. That vacuum cleaner works so well, I think I'll use it on these. They look the same to me. Oh, there we go. And of course, these are old plastic parts. Bakelite or whatever it is. Don't twist it down so tight that it cracks the plastic. Snug is good. That's perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to put the cover back on. The book says be sure not to lose the felt washer. Of course, this one had no felt washer because apparently it was lost, but it doesn't seem to be essential. And I'm going to put it back in the cabinet and give it a try. When I unplugged the foot controller, I noticed that it had some nasty green goo on it, which is pretty common with copper. So I'm cleaning it off. Of course, the machine is unplugged. You always want to be careful not to work on something that's plugged in to the wall. A little solvent might be a good idea. Some alcohol. But I think this will be sufficient for right now. And this plugs right in over here. And we'll give it a try pretty quick. Okay, so I set my machine up with double needles just for fun. And here we go. Looks like the tension's a little tight. I'll loosen it. Go back the other way. Very happy. So I did clean my foot controller following the instructions on AndyTube. I can highly recommend AndyTube. And thank you very much for watching my first YouTube video.